Ooh, that's bright. Just adjust a little bit. Oh yeah. Oh, that's a bright light. I could probably dim it. There we go. Hi everybody, give me 1 second please. I'll catch up with chat and everything. It's so bright, help. Ow. There we go. Right, so. Right. Hi there, I'm doing amazing so far because I finally finished Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony and now I'm doing Japanese version. Oh, fun. Hi, Zero and hi, Kokichi. Seller should be here momentarily. Then we'll get started. That's just Facebook. How is everyone doing this wonderful evening? Every time you see I'm streaming, you want love, huh, baby? Huh, you do. Zelda says hi. Oh yeah, you did stream Tiny Bunny, didn't you? Okay, let me bring the radio down. Well, let's let this song finish out. It's almost done. Pretzel Rock's new lo-fi station is just top tier. I love it. I'm gonna be really sad when it's no longer a thing. Radio. So last time we left off, don't jump scare me. Last time we left off, we had just taken over Hannah. And she is British, so I gotta do my best here. Sorry in advance, but the entire time she's gonna be British. It's stay in character. It is far too easy to get them to pay attention, enraptured. They hang on to my every word and follow my every move. All of it would have been stifling had I not grown used to such stares. Most are respectful, some are hostile, if we are honest, and a few are downright inappropriate. After all, I am.
On a right.
Hopefully this is not too bad. I'm trying really hard. There's a moment of agitation as a familiar but less than welcome face approaches me with a suggestive smirk on his face. Of course, I have to keep a benevolent smile and greet him as I greet any good friend. After all, this man can turn heads, being famous in his own right.
Officer Lee! What a pleasant surprise. I didn't think you'd have the time to attend tonight's party.
Alright. He is more Luke's friend than mine, really, and I'm quite sure I only invited his wife. Much like I'm only friends with the chief inspector because of Luke, Luke is only friends with Rochelle because of me. Unlike how I treated Lee, however, Luke never hid his animosity for Lee, the Lee matriarch. It wasn't all sort of friendship where we would have an awkward double dates. I don't even recall his first name. It started with an N, I think. I might be wrong. Because she's sort of Elvish. Probably because she's got blonde hair, blue eyes, and is British. Aside from being Chief Inspector of Luxembourg Police, his wife Rochelle Lee Vance owns a General Electronics company. Fridges and freezers mostly.
Oh, I always have time for my favourite socialite couple. Might I say, you look positively ravishing tonight.
Oh, lovely.
I see the husband isn't with you.
Ugh. Gross. This guy. The way he eyes me up is enough to make my skin crawl. I just wish Luke is here to fend off the more unseemly of our peers. You know the ones. Men who are just a little bit too friendly, staring too long at my assets, and getting close just because my husband is not here. And to think they have the gall to do this at my own party. In my own house, if I might add. But, like any high society woman worth her salt, I know how to handle it with grace and dignity.
I suppose you are looking pleasant as well. Luke's busy with work, unfortunately. Michelle isn't here?
A shame. I do hope he isn't causing you much trouble. That husband of yours can be a bit daft sometimes, acting like he's still some young bachelor.
This guy's voice is so aggressive.
The wife sends her regards and her apologies, but something came up with a doctor and she needed to attend to it. You know her, being pregnant and all.
Great. We make small talk. Rather, because I'm forced to do so, as he would not leave my side after finding his place there. Much to my chagrin, I've been extricated from the few who flock in hopes of flattering, for I can tolerate them far better than Lee. He is a nice enough person, and I adore his wife, who is obviously the brains behind the two. But there's something unsettling about him. I do not trust him as much as I want to. He regaled to me tales of the Luxembourg Police Department, a different affair to the usual gossip I am privy to, and though I am loath to admit it is interesting nonetheless. I expect the topic of business to die out quickly, which would be understandable enough due to the confidential nature of his work. But oh boy, was I wrong.
So, wearing civvies, I steal and drive off with one of the police mobiles, right? In the mirror, I see the new tank chasing on foot and screaming about theft.
This guy.
The look on his face was priceless when I parked in the garage.
Oh my. You made him chase you all the way home for a prank. What did Rochelle have to say about that?
Shell has a strange love and hate affair with Lee. He is a married man who not grow up past his early 20s, judging by the way he acts. Surprisingly enough, they've been married for a good 20 years. A lifetime if you compare it to my marriage of 7 years with Luke. I, on the other hand, well, Luke is no Lee. I should be happy about that, I suppose. Although my darling did have his moments.
Yeah, the wife pulled my ear and gave me a good talking to, though. Besides, we live in a flat a block away, so it wasn't much of a grand chase.
Weren't you living in a house near the countryside?
Moved for work, you know. Or you probably don't.
No, I don't. But a flat in downtown. I suppose if that's what you like.
Oh, it's horrid. Hate that tiny place, no matter how convenient it can be for work. 55 square yards are not enough when you need to get away from the wife.
Yeah, they sure are.
I wouldn't mind a place away from the city. Even started looking at the ads. I spied an interesting lot, actually. Heard it was finally put up for sale. Or that something mansion, you know the one with all the ghost stories.
What? This one? I know what he's talking about. There are really only a few urban legends around here. It's...
The Ermagood Mansion?
Oh, so we don't have it yet.
That's the one. Worthy of a king it is. I'd buy it myself, but Rochelle would only gripe if I brought it up to her. Not to mention all the expenses a place like that will be a real fixer-upper.
Ermengarde. Ermengarde.
You also have to find someone willing to work there with how superstitious people can be.
If it becomes a problem, just hire someone to do an exorcism.
Actually, I do know of someone who could be up to the task. You remember the Ludgates party at their Christchurch summer residence?
Of course. It was an excellent soiree. Everything was so classy, too. Such good taste.
Oh, that place was a pigsty until they hired out this interior designer and they turned it into a bloody palace. She worked for the Exodus for their apartment in Soho too, and they recommended her when we were looking up pieces for our beach house in Porto Colom. I think I have a business card No, I must have left it in my other jacket. Anyway, she's called, what's her name? Marianne, I believe, yes.
Ah,
But truly, if anyone were to get that place in McCullough, well, they'd be the envy and the talk of the town.
it's not a flashback, but I think it might be because their stories probably start at the same time, right? So it's probably just telling each story.
Well, if you put it that way, I might just snatch it up for myself. This place was starting to feel a bit small lately anyway.
Okay. Sure, a 3-story penthouse might not fit the description of small for some people. Okay, maybe a lot of people. But it isn't big enough to have grand parties in. As it is, I only invited about 30 people to this one, and it already feels cramped in here. It certainly would be nice if I didn't have to ride an elevator up and down several floors before we could get anywhere as well. All Luke's words and not mine. Besides, I have been looking for a good anniversary gift. Luke might like this one. Where is he anyway? Are we still in her perspective? We're gonna assume we are. Right. Luke is dressed to the nines as he usually is, and he looks ready for whatever the day will throw at him. His butler and valet wait at his side just in case he isn't as ready as he looks. Oh, sure, that's normal, but what is confusing me is the fact that he is on his way out of the penthouse, considering we won't have anywhere to go until much later.
Where are you going?
Right?
I am to attend the Triad Autumn Tasting. I do believe I informed you of this 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
Yes. And might I remind you that I had stricken that off your schedule? Because 1, the doctor told you to stop consuming so much alcohol. And 2, I informed you a few days ago about the open house we are going to attend in its place. I've even found this marvelous interior designer, Mary Ann McCullough.
It's a 3.5-hour drive to Cardiff. I don't have time for this. This is like that little party you threw all over again. You don't inform me of it, and you expect me to stay and be a gracious host when I have business elsewhere.
Oh my god, this guy.
You know how I operate, Hana. Unless this was penciled in, I am sticking to my schedule.
Okay.
If I may intrude, the madam is correct. Your physician did insist you moderate your drinking, unless you wish to incur acute pancreatitis.
He's German.
And you did have this open house penciled in last Wednesday morning.
Bullocks, I don't remember doing so.
Well, you did. While very hungover, in fact.
This is good. Moaned about me being too loud, but gave in after some pushing. Wait, what? Oh, sorry. He did. Sorry. He did. Moaned about me being too loud, but gave in after some pushing. Perhaps that was a bit too cruel and manipulative of me, but...
Whose side are you on?
Come on, Luke. You promised we'd do whatever I want this weekend.
Gordon Bennett, fine. I am giving this house tour of yours a chance. But if it proves to be a waste of time, I am going to Cardiff, and you are going to take a cab home.
Don't ask
Are
me.
we clear?
It's just a bit of husband and wife tit for tat, isn't it? All couples have their arguments. Once the honeymoon phase is over, as they seem to call it, reality sets in that you and your partner might not always see eye to eye. Perhaps it has been the years. 7 of them is nothing to scoff at.
I just cannot bloody believe I agreed to this. I was really looking forward to the triad tasting.
Though sometimes I think it's something a bit more than just simple disagreement, and I have to stop myself from wondering where we went wrong.
There's always the Triad Christmas tasting in Manchester next month, and that'll only be an hour-and-a-half drive.
Have I been neglectful? Have I offended? Have I acted shamefully?
Yes, but Cardiff.
Certainly any problem can be discussed, as long as he doesn't turn me away.
Well, there goes my good mood. Are you happy now, Hana?
Why must he treat me this way? I am happy, and I'm sure he will be too once he gets over this little upset. There's no point in aggravating him any more, so I keep myself from commenting on the issue any further. A sweet smile and a bowed head, no need to provoke. That is how I cope.
So, when do we leave? Where are we even going?
We're scheduled to leave after lunch for the Ermengarde Mansion. Das ist ja interessant. It's just Deutsch name. Is that infamous mansion? Yeah? I have seen it from afar. It's a huge property. Very beautiful if it wasn't left abandoned. Certainly a house befitting lords and ladies of the land.
Is he your new favorite character, Stellar?
A house good enough for nobles, huh? It is well known then? I guess that doesn't make it a total waste of time.
Our old sous chef mentioned going there for Halloween last year. We've not seen him since. Not that I mind. He made terrible pumpkin soup.
A smile even as they turn their backs to me. The ride to the mansion is quiet, with Luke having stared out the window for the entire way, not paying attention to anything around him. Ja. Meanwhile, I am conflicted. I don't know if I should apologize for changing his plans like that. But by the time we arrive at the mansion and I see his eyes light up in genuine interest, apologizing is the last thing on my mind. The whole affair at the Ermengarde mansion is certainly an interesting experience. The place had been renovated and restored by the owners to what they claimed to be acceptable standards. The mansion itself looks like something befitting a fairy tale or period of grace. It is tastefully decorated, and with a little bit of love and attention, I'm sure it can be a place Luke and I can call home. And the number of the other prospective buyers that have come from the powerful and wealthy of Luxembourg certainly did not disappoint, marking this estate as prime property. The Lees are among the group who went with the Rose woman, and I saw a few other notable faces, though I did not really feel like mingling. Unfortunately for every one of them, the Wrights are interested in buying. Ah, Isabel! Oh, bad blood, that's not good. Maybe I should have spoken up for myself. What's been bugging my mind, however, is that Isabel. What's her problem? I still don't quite understand what's happening. One moment she's scrambling to give us the paperwork to finalize the sale, then she's panicking over some sort of prank letter or another. Second thing on my mind is how touchy my darling husband is being towards the poor dear. I know, seeing her sad is really concerning me. Cannot even plaster a smile on my face, a horrid scowl taking its place. There's no way I can pretend nothing is wrong as I hum.
And I'm sure little Lily here would certainly appreciate it if you remove your pretty hands from her, darling.
Ah, this part. He is quick enough to detract his hand, which is all the girl needs to, well, for lack of a better word, escape.
I think I need to step out for a while. I'll be back.
Oh, Isabel. Her partner follows, shouting after her without hesitation. There's an awkward air among us as we are left in the wake of whatever that was. The others murmur and gossip with each other, speaking of the poor, daft girl, and telling a tale to whoever was not the audience to the act in the first place. It doesn't take long for the woman, Rose, to return and pull us aside into the study for what I rightfully assume is damage control. Rose invites Marianne into, hoping to apologize to her as well. But the woman refuses, saying she's not one of her clients anyway. That leaves myself, Rose, and Luke, the last all too eager to make himself comfortable in the study he's no doubt already claimed as his own.
I can't apologize enough about what just happened. Please forgive Isabella.
Well, we don't know that, because you know what? I passed that check, which means I probably wasn't seen. Thank you very much.
She's been under a lot of pressure lately. She's young, and all those rumors about this being haunted just got to her head. And it must be this terrible heat, too. Not a drop of rain for days now.
Oh, oops.
Oh, it's fine. The poor girl must feel so embarrassed about what she just did.
Oh.
But I say, let bygones be bygones. After all, she's only a child.
Yeah, so, Zero, we decided to go to work, and at work we encountered the mansion demon thingy again, so.
She looked, what, 19?
I shoot Luke an accusing look at these words. After all, he tried flirting with the girl. The nerve of him. And also, not only that Isabel girl, but also Marianne and Rose too. What kind of husband would think that it's even remotely a good idea to make moves on 3 different women while his wife stands there? Did he drink while I wasn't looking?
She's a bit older than that.
Ah.
But again, I apologize. And if there's any way I can make up for what just happened, just...
I know what you can do. Be a darling flower and get us one of those bottles you plan to serve. Pop it open.
We were planning on serving some champagne. I can get that.
That would be lovely. Much obliged.
This
Do
guy.
you want a glass as well, Miss Wright?
Oh no, I'm fine. I really shouldn't be drinking right now.
Jesus. Apparently I'm pretty mad. And Luke shouldn't be either. But right now I'm just too tired for any sort of argument. I don't have the heart to scold him in public as well. I'm certainly not his mother. I just want to get this horrid day done with, go home and sleep. Perhaps I'll even have a strong cuppa before I head off to bed. Yes, that sounds nice. When Rose comes back with the champagne, I beckon her over. As I have told her partner before, I have every intent of acquiring this house. Might as well, even if I'm having second thoughts about getting it for Luke. The moment we, the Wrights, had expressed interest in this place, we've had our eyes set on us. If we don't buy it, that might as well be the signal to have busybodies gossip about how we may or may not have lost our fortune. Regardless of the fact that is false, image is everything when dealing with these people. These are the unspoken rules for people such as ourselves. And besides, I really did like the place. Why, everything here is absolutely wonderful. What? Okay. Well, except for this ugly painting in the study. It looks like a bad fake of an Edvard Munch painting.
Here's the deal. I'm willing to pay 10% higher than your listing price.
Seems like it.
If anyone tries to outbid us, just add another 5%. I doubt anyone can, of course. Or, you know what? Just add 15% to the listing price, and we can sign all the paperwork now.
I guess.
Oh yeah,
if
she's
that's what you want.
a real looker, that
won't be
one.
any trouble.
Haha.
I don't have all the papers now. Didn't think this would be a quick sell. I'll have copies sent to you so you can look over them. And if you'd still like to finish the rest of the tour with Isabella's group, you're more than welcome to.
No, I think we're good here. We'd appreciate a private tour of the place a lot more, I think.
All right. Should I let Marianne in, then?
Marianne? Oh, right. She's been waiting outside the study this whole time, hasn't she? I'll need to have a little chat with her to move this little mansion project forward.
Please do.
There's a look of apprehension when the other woman enters the study. Yet, like a professional, I see the moment when she steels herself and masks her worry. Admirable.
We have this project then?
Of course. Will you be needing anything from us?
Having the floor plans would be a great start, just so that I can look at them beforehand.
I hope I get to voice someone Irish. I've never gotten to try that.
And if you could tell me when you're available for a meeting so that I can include it in my calendar?
Oh, is a meeting really all that necessary, Marianne? I guess we can send Johans to help you out. You two can start by getting rid of this ugly painting.
Still hate that. Still hate that. A hush falls upon the room at my request.
What painting?
And lo and behold, the painting is gone. In its place a mirror stands, which leaves me to look at my own confused expression.
Odd. Well, no matter.
Okay.
Back to the topic at hand. Marianne, dear, we are simply far too busy to meet up. But I guess we can free up a day to meet with you. I don't really need another Maudlin Monday reading about Maury anyway. The book club can function without me for one day. What time shall we be seeing each other? How does lunch sound?
Besides, my house has a higher priority over the book club. Why, we can hold the next meeting at this place. Surely the beauty and grandeur of it all will inspire spirited and lively debates about whether modern-day writers could match up to the classics. I might as well clear up the rest of my week to handle whatever affairs buying this mansion requires of me. Any social activities can be put off until the Ermengarde's, or rather, the Wright Mansion's great debut. I'll have my fill of great parties and gatherings, especially when I organize them myself.
That sounds good. Although, with a project of this scope, we might need most of the day to tackle your concerns. A more thorough inspection of the place is also preferable.
Of course.
Breakfast then. It's a date.
It's really not.
All right. Monday. 10 o'clock sharp. We'll see you then.
Actually, Marianne suggested that we meet at 9, but who's even awake at that unholy hour? I was lucky enough to wake up this morning before Luke went all the way to Cardiff. Don't like that sound. We say our goodbyes, shake hands, and make it clear without outright saying it that we now own this house. By the time we left the mansion grounds, sunset is almost upon us.
So, you really want to buy this place then? That's a bit of a big impulse buy, even coming from you. Not that I'm complaining.
Well, I'm glad you're not complaining like you usually do.
Damn.
It's a right and proper Christmas miracle, isn't it? Hannah has finally done something right.
I refuse to look at him, staring at the passing scenery instead.
Hey, Buttercup, what's with this cheek?
Rose, Lily, Mint. The nerve, Luke, the nerve!
Who is Mint?
Is that what this is about? 1, that woman's name was Rose. And 2, you know I don't mean a word of that empty flirting.
And it's still the principle of things, Luke. I understand if you try to woo them to get what you want when it seems that I'm not looking. But I told you once before not to do it when I'm there.
Luke dealt with other women in the past to get what he wanted. Sometimes I have my doubts. I really want to believe that I am an exception, that he's not just using me like how he used those other girls. I am having a hard time believing that now. And it isn't just the shameless flirting. There's something about that Marianne woman as if Luke is familiar with her. As much as it shames me, it makes jealousy rear its ugly head. I am, suffice to say, ticked off.
Really? I forfeit my trip to Cardiff for this, and you're still not happy.
Oh, trust me, Luke. I am very happy. Very happy that, for once, we are doing something that I want. Can you not see the smile on my face?
It is only when I let loose those words that the truth hits me like a slap in the face. And by the looks of it, it seems to have the same effect on my dear, darling husband. It has always been Luke who wants to do this, and Luke who wants to do that, hasn't it? I don't even remember the last trip we went to which was of my own choosing, without needing to get the man's approval. On the other hand, I was pulled along to every single expedition he wished to tackle, and I never objected. The rest of the ride home is spent just ignoring each other, pretending the other didn't exist. Arriving at our penthouse, my first order of business is to get into bed. Forget a hot bath and forget the tea. I just want to bury myself in blankets and forget everything in my slumber. It seems that Luke has the same idea in mind as he tags along behind me. But this is something I will not allow the moment I pass through the door.
Out.
What the bloody hell, woman? This is my bedroom too!
Luke stands flabbergasted as I deny him entry into our chambers. His pillows lie on the cold tiled floor, away from the warmth of our soft down bed, and my gaze promises him the same fate if he doesn't budge on this matter.
Don't even try to argue, because I am very cross with you, Luke Wright.
Apparently.
You can take the second bedroom or the guest room if you wish, but I do not want to see you at all for the rest of the night.
Johans!
Butler wanders over, curious expression on his face. He doesn't quite hurry, moving at a relaxed pace no matter how angry his master sounded.
No, you are not allowed to sleep in my room, sir.
Actually, I think it's her paying the bills.
That's not what I mean! Help me talk some sense into her!
There is no sense in questioning her right to be angry, sir. So, if I might be excused, I'll go prepare the second bedroom for you.
You tell him.
Mutiny! This is mutiny! The system is being upturned, and the people are rioting, and everything is left asunder.
Luke Wright. Now look left. It isn't every day that Luke is rendered speechless by someone he considers inferior, or to yield to another authority without an ulterior motive. His pride just won't allow it. I do keep telling the man to treat his people better. He may throw whatever fit he wants, but he will not be getting his way tonight. Victorious, I celebrate by jumping face first onto our bed. Undignified, yes, but nobody's here to judge me anyway. Right? Nobody is here to tell me what to do. Yet, as I succumb to sleep, I can hear them whisper to me. I can hear them whispering. Oh, don't like that. Calling for me. They want me. Need me. They drown me, pull me down, and suffocate me in their embrace until I sink to the bottom. A deep abyss awaits, inviting yet foreboding. They're calling to me from in there, aren't they? And I do want to help. I do. But when I try to reach out, something pulls me back like a hook sinking. Thank you, Sarah. But when I try to reach out, something pulls me back like a hook sinking itself into my stomach. Fucking shit. God damn it. Well then. Okay, let's go. And I break through the surface with a gasp. Alone in bed without Luke to hog the covers, I'm swathed in a cloth and slicked with sweat. It takes me a while to untangle myself and kick them all off. Both the bed and I are a right mess by the end of it all, but I am more than eager to just get up and go out for some fresh air. Hey, you! Hmm? The days past had gone by in a blur. We hadn't talked much, Luke and I, outside of necessity. Right? In fact, we've hardly talked beyond the topic of acquisitions of properties. Properties being the mansion, obviously. Everything has been so busy that I haven't talked to anyone outside the business, and it is just so stressing. So, one can understand my for a good chat, preferably over a good meal. There are times when any decent, emotionally healthy, and socially capable person need a good friend. One who will talk to them without the conversation degrading or turning into an argument. Or barring a nearby friend, I have an interior designer under confidentiality agreement to listen to me.
Up, higher, come on now.
No, Stellar, you can't leave the group. I'll be sad. The place is bustling with movers and carrying furnishings here and there, and along with several trunks of personal belongings taken from our penthouse. I can hear Luke barking at them in the other room, making sure nothing is handled carelessly or gets broken.
Careful now. I know your pictures are framed by cheap plastic, but those are framed by African blackwood and are one-of-a-kind commissioned paintings.
Oh, this man of mine.
Each one is easily worth a lifetime of what you lot make.
It's hard to tune him out. The walls did not do a good job of muffling him at all. But then again, it is Luke. I would still hear him ranting even if we were on the opposite sides of the mansion and I'm wearing earplugs.
I'd really like to thank you for inviting me to breakfast, Mrs. Wright. But I already ate, so I should really go back to work.
No.
Nonsense! You arrived so early, you must not have gotten a proper meal. Our butler has made a surprisingly lovely bubble and squeak.
I don't know what that is.
Sit. I'd situate us in the dining hall, but it is a mess right now. Oh, Johans!
The man in question appears ready with a tray as he starts to set the table for us. We sit in silence as we each served a plate. So that's what that is. Wine and rat stew. Mashed potato with peas and cabbage. Alright. Bubbling and squeak, topped by a nicely poached egg with cherry tomatoes and other garnishings adorning the edges of the plate. A cup and salsa and a teapot with some Earl Grey is placed down for Marianne, and I ask for an orange Julius.
How are you liking the project?
Drop that vase and I'll have your head. I know it's only an 8 million yen vase, but I swear I'll...
It's good.
Well, it's certainly a fun challenge, incorporating the designs of a Jacobean manor and the functionality of a modern household. I have ideas I would like to suggest, by the way, about what to use the second bedroom for. I have been informed of your goddaughter and thought a kid-friendly room might be in order.
You read my mind. I was actually going to bring that up. Oh, that would just be so lovely, Marianne. That way, Kylie can bring her friends over as well. And a good friend of mine, Rochelle, is expecting a baby. So, why don't we think about putting a crib in there too? I can just imagine little ones running around. filling this place with the pitter-patter of their feet.
Same.
We'd have to make sure they don't trip and fall on the stairs, though.
We won't be able to finish everything up until after the party.
It's because I voiced her now, isn't it?
But we'll have it ready by then, so that all we need to do is to move in the furnishings.
Yes, that's plenty fine. It's not like we're in a hurry to have it. And we wouldn't want the workers to disturb the guests or the other way around, do we? Just make sure it's presentable. You know, in case a guest snoops about.
Of course.
Of course.
As for the kitchen you wanted, I've already negotiated for the high-end stoves and the hot and cold drawers, so on and so forth. I've got a friend who is able to customize them so that they'll look like the counters we'll be replacing and fit the rest of the interior. They'll be bringing them in today.
Why can't you people do anything right? Don't drag it. You'll scratch the wood.
Excellent. But no, really, how have you liked it so far?
I don't know about excellent, but thanks.
Oh, it has been wonderful, believe me. Everything is going smoothly too. It has been a long time since I've worked on something on this grand a scale. Nowadays, everyone is about condos and flats, living in the city where every room is an identical box.
A flat is basically an apartment, right?
Believe me, this is very refreshing.
We lived in a condo before this, Marianne.
I didn't mean any insult.
It's fine, sweetie. Look at you, all frazzled. I was just pulling your leg. Dick wanted that penthouse when we got married, and you can thank him for purchasing this place as well.
Oh. She looked confused. Of course, she has every right to be. She no doubt overheard me push that estate agent into the sale, making quite the aggressive offer. She saw me sign the papers for the mansion as well. I just had to scoff.
Don't be fooled. I'm just the treasury.
Oh.
I wouldn't be able to make a purchase this grand without his seal of approval.
I see.
So I think it's her money, but he basically has control of it.
That's it. That's all you have to say.
Yes, it wouldn't be appropriate to comment further. It is unprofessional.
Unprofessional?
I can't help but let out a deep sigh as I stick a fork into the dish. I didn't want a professional. I want someone who will either agree with me, even if it's just for the sake of agreeing, or someone who will try to talk some sense into me. Neutral responses are so boring. There's no discourse in the middle ground.
The food is good. Best bubble and squeak.
Of course it is. Our kitchen staff only uses the freshest hand-picked ingredients. Only the best for the rights.
Mr. Wright is not joining us?
No, he is far too busy bossing people around. He even refused to join me for breakfast earlier, hence this.
I see.
Ooh.
My apologies. I really don't know what sort of response you expect to get from me.
There's a clatter of silverware as I slam my hands on the table. It's frustrating. I am frustrated. And Luke mostly. But Marianne's neutral, professional answers are certainly irksome as well.
You're a human with feelings and opinions, aren't you? Don't give me this bollocks about being professional when we're having a nice, friendly chat over a nice and friendly breakfast.
Basically, she's mad that Marianne is acting indifferent to the situation, rather than either taking her side or standing up to her. She doesn't like it.
I can only talk about interior designs for so long, and I detest one-sided conversations, Marianne.
fair.
But I really don't know what to say, Mrs. Wright. We were talking of no topic in particular, and
Luke. We were talking about Luke.
about him not eating breakfast with you.
About him treating me as if I were some treasury.
Oh my god. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize that I'd shouted that out loud until it's too late. There's a stunned silence that settled before I slumped back into my seat. Hiding my face behind my hands, I can feel my shoulders shake. Breathe, I told myself. Calm down. But it's just so hard.
Honestly, sometimes I feel like he doesn't love me anymore.
Shit.
Oh, have I been so blind? Did he ever love me at all? Was our
Space Jam
marriage all
DVD,
for the
Space
sake
Jam
of saving his
DVD,
company
Space
and his
Jam
wealth?
DVD, Space Jam 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 DVD.
Because
Because?
Did I say all that out loud? Again? No. This is bad. Unacceptable. It has been rumored before, the real reason for our engagement, but if anyone were to know of this... Marriages of necessity to carry on political and financial power used to be a common thing, but the Evans-Wright union is the perfect happily ever after. Was... supposed to be. It is true that we first met each other in order to discuss dealings, to make the then failing Wright enterprise a subsidiary for Evans Incorporated. But I do remember being in love with him, and there were times when he said he loved me back, even if I'm not sure of what the truth is now. Either way, I do not want the Wright name or the Evans name dragged through the mud because of a slip-up. I'm not gonna threaten her. Marianne is a good sort, isn't she? So far, she has been reasonable and accommodating, even towards Luke's ridiculous requests. Patient and professional. Did it only extend to business? Or would she be able to understand that things like this are not as simple, not as clean as they are painted to be? Certainly I can talk to her. Ask for her.
I won't speak a word, Mrs. Wright. Not only am I contractually obliged to, it would also go against my principles.
Oh, you're lovely. Getting low on water again.
This is no one else's business but your own, and it should be kept between the two of you. And whoever you wish to seek counsel from.
please, Marianne, you have to understand. These sort of affairs, if anyone were to know this, they could just twist it and we'll be ruined. All I ask for is your silence on the matter.
If I am to be frank, Mrs. Wright, this isn't new for me. You aren't the first, and you certainly won't be the last to have complicated dealings. Unless what you're doing is illegal, I turn a blind eye.
Can I trust her?
If I wasn't in the same boat, I'd be trying to pry those secrets and gossip with you about them by now.
Well, I'm keeping that information confidential as well.
It's not like I have any other choice, do I?
Thank you.
We continue to eat our meal in peace, finishing the last of the food and drink. When the door to the parlor opened, Marianne and I are just sitting in silence.
Madam, the photographer from Luxury Living is here.
I give him nothing but a small nod.
This was a wonderful meal, Marianne. I must excuse myself.
It was my pleasure. And thank you for the food as well.
Making my way downstairs, I look back and see Marianne give me a nod and a small smile. That certainly put me in lighter spirits. An interview with luxury living. That is today, isn't it? Oh, yes. People had caught wind of our new mansion the very moment we left the open house. Luke had boasted he could acquire the property in no time and allowed a photo shoot for an interior design magazine to be scheduled for today. Well, there were complications, and it took longer than it usually does for us. Hopefully, I won't have any other unfortunate slip-ups with someone who isn't bound by confidentiality. The mansion grounds has been one of the first things to be fixed up aside from the bedroom. Although it is still a work in progress, it had a promising start, and I can already see the flower patches. Luke's favorite daffodil stands out easily, having been transplanted from the pots that used to litter the rooftop of our penthouse. Why, if the moving crew thought that Luke was being hard on them, they clearly didn't see the landscaper on his way out. The man looked like he was ready to faint, and Luke seemed ready to kill him by the end of their discussion. It is in the gardens that I see him standing near the flowers in quiet admiration. He's hard to miss, the hulk of a man that clearly didn't belong, and the big backpack and suitcase he has with him makes him look much larger. This is a peculiar sight, seeing someone who looks like he does handling little delicate things with such care. He looks up from the gardens and does a double take before a friendly face replaces his serene expression.
Miss Wright, yeah? Hi, Zachary Steele here from Luxury Living, ma'am.
I think she means that he's really big and flowers are big, little, tiny things.
Hope you weren't waiting too long. But it looks like you're still moving in, huh? Thought for a second there my calendar was wrong and I came here too early.
The one and only. Welcome to Maison de Right. And yes, we've been in the process of moving in as we were delayed, but it won't be a problem. They're just adding a few things here and there, and you should still be able to do your work. Where's the rest of your crew then, Mr. Steele?
Zach is fine, please. Mr. Steele makes me feel like I'm a mascot for a cleaning product.
Yeah, he's really great.
Anyway, I'll be your one-man crew for today. Don't worry, been doing this gig for a while now.
You must be quite the veteran to handle this on your own. We've had a full crew coming into our penthouse the last time we were covered in your magazine.
Veteran? Oh, your words are too kind, Miss Wright.
Hannah, if I get to call you Zach, you have my permission to call me Hannah.
Alrighty then.
God, I love him.
Anyway, I'm no veteran, but I know my camera well enough to make sure this is a good shoot. You can trust me on that, Miss Wright. Hannah.
Hannah? Hannah. Monsieur le photographe. Zachary proves quickly enough that I can in fact trust him, his skills with the camera and experience in this industry at the very least. He is kind and courteous, listening and following as I lead him around the house. Really nice fellow, and he treats our household staff well. Whenever we cross paths with him, I answer his questions to the best of my ability, and he is patient enough to answer mine whenever I get curious enough. For one, I ask what the bags are for. They are quite the magician's toolkit. From inside, he had procured several items to embellish the interior with. Bowls of fruits, lemons, trays with peppermills, stacks of cookbooks, cutting boards, and glass canisters filled with colorful nuts and grains that are brought in for a kitchen setting. For the bathroom, there are white towels, seashells, and decorative soaps. There are other things as well, too numerous to count, all in that large backpack and suitcase.
Tricks of the trade. Softens up a room, makes a place feel more homey, and fills it up with texture. But you guys probably have better stuff I can use for this.
No lights. Don't tell me all of these are just props.
I think she's using blush around her eyes.
Well, I've got my tripod here. For things like these, natural light is best. I'll just have to set the shutter speed to a real slow setting, and as long as nobody steps into the shot, it'll look great.
Oh, it better.
We go through the rooms one at a time, and although we first tackle the ones that the movers have no business in anymore. The ballroom needs a little preparation with its grand design. Although there is some trouble at first with the wide open space and the pictures being backlit. It is in the kitchen that Zachary's props come in handy, considering how Johannes kept the place so neat and sterile. One can practically eat off the floor. We carry on touring the house, taking pictures where we can, and with the exception to the rooms which have yet to gain any purpose or design. Too bad I can't take a sneak peek at his photos yet. Funnily enough, he is using a traditional camera. I didn't even know film still existed. With the way he speaks, however, I can see that he knows enough about his craft that I'm not too worried about botched photographs. I imagine photography must be cathartic to him, judging by how at ease he looks while taking pictures. There are several snippets of conversation in between the clicking of the camera. He even goes as far as to talk about these terminologies like shutter speeds and aperture when I asked about the technical aspects. I can't quite see the picture as it's made, much like when I watch artists paint on their canvas. But just watching someone passionately practicing the craft such as this is exciting in its own way. Going through the many rooms, it has been quite the exercise for both of us. Despite that, he has been so nice, and I find myself putting on my best smile. But it is as we're taking pictures of the foyer that everything comes to a standstill for a moment. Just a moment. And had I not been paying attention, I wouldn't have even noticed. It is merely a split second when Zachary's rhythm is put to a halt. Nope. Oh boy. His finger doesn't move to release the shutter. Yet he also doesn't pull the camera away from his face, gaze still firmly fixed through the viewfinder. His hands shaken, there's a light sheen of sweat on his forehead.
Zachary?
No response.
Zach? Is something the matter?
Lowering his camera, he blinks and stares at something behind me before shaking his head. Turning around, though, I see nothing that could have gotten his attention.
Oh no, there's nothing wrong. I just remembered something I saw.
Yikes.
Let's get back to the pictures. Can you move a bit more to the left, yeah?
Please? I struggle to respond this time. There's a sudden weight on my back and an indescribable tightness around my throat. Everything stops. And everything starts again as I manage to choke out.
If you're sure.
I don't know what just happened. It was probably just a dizzy spell. I'm fine. And he said he's fine. We continue at the same pace as before, although there's an unspoken agreement that we will not talk about what happened.
So, is this a full-time job for you then?
Wow. Wowie, wow.
Nah, I just freelance mostly. Magazines, newspapers, and events. so you can't really call it a full-time job. It's fun and it puts food on the table, but it's not what I really want to do. At least, not all the time.
What is it that you want to do then?
Maybe I've been out of line, sticking my nose into other people's business, but I can't help but ask. I regret doing so as I see his shoulders slump and the easygoing air he has fades away. He looks torn over whether he wants to talk about it or not.
Documentaries mostly. But cinematography is a lot more difficult than photography, right? I was working on this thing, actually.
What thing?
Well, it wasn't really a big thing. People didn't like Blue Fonzie very much.
Blue Fonzie.
People don't like a film about colors. I suppose they would have liked Blue Bibby a lot more.
Very funny.
So, Grand Director, do you want to tell me what Blue Fonzie is all about?
Fonzie and baby. He hesitates. But when I refuse to budge on the matter, he gives in and spills it all out. Oh god. I can do this. Give me a second. I gotta clear my throat, and then I gotta drink some water, and I'm gonna do my best at this. Blue Fonzie, l'heure la plus sombre des noirs Britanniques. Dark blue, the darkest hours of the black British. He speaks with the passion of the one who has gone through the very matter he is concerned with. There is conviction, knowledge, and experience in his speech. Why, I would have told him that he's an amazing speaker if I wasn't so engrossed listening. Prejudice and discrimination in schools and in the workplace, lesser chances for the opportunity and higher chances of being treated like a criminal. He spoke of blacks and of people of color in general still being treated like second-class citizens, all because of the color of their skin. It is all just positively riveting and sad. It comes to a point wherein he soon loses his steam and he looks abashed, realizing what he has just done.
Sorry, I just got so carried away.
It's fine. It is really so fascinating to watch people talk about their passion after all. You should see how your eyes light up when you speak so fiercely. You do have very beautiful eyes.
Oh my gosh.
Uh-huh. Thanks, I guess.
I want to say that I understand where he's coming from, but I really don't, do I? I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth and I've lived a charmed life. It hasn't been perfect, but the difficulties I've been through pale in comparison to what others experience on a daily basis. I certainly don't know how I'd have fared were it any different. Would I still have met Luke, and would he still have loved me if I was any lesser?
What was your home like?
No.
These things you talk about, it sounds like you've... Well, I don't mean to pry, I mean.
Live with my older sister and my grandparents. We had a shop selling all sorts of things below our flat. And well, I was one of the few non-white, non-British students in class.
Okay.
I didn't get pushed around or anything straight up. Even then, I was one of the biggest kids around. But a pencil and notebook would go missing, you know?
Oh, that I knew. Children can be so cruel at times. Of course, it may be a slightly different story when you have personal guards and the stolen item is not a pencil but an expensive heirloom.
So what about you? How you liking your new house? It's pretty impressive.
It's nice, I suppose.
You suppose? Not big enough?
What? No, oh, don't be a bully. It's just that...
I understand if you don't want to talk about it.
I was a little girl, all dolled up and treated like a fragile porcelain, and its nursemaids waiting to hand me hand and foot. All the material possessions anyone could ever want, I could ask for on a whim, and it would be handed to me just like that. But I barely saw my parents, just goodbye kisses in the morning before they went off to who knows where they were needed to next. I saw them more often on the telly or in papers than I ever did in person.
I remember my old house. It was a lot like this one. Big walls and big halls, but nobody in it. Not really.
Yeah.
It makes you think how alone you are.
Yeah. A pensive mood overcomes us. And there's a moment where neither of us are sure of how to go from there. Things have gotten a bit too personal, yet it isn't wholly uncomfortable, like as if we've been friends before.
Well, that's normal, ain't it? You just moved here. You'll make home out of it yet.
His certainty makes it easy to believe that. My childhood house is indeed a lot like this one. Just as large and extravagant, and just as empty. I hope he's right.
So, Monsieur le Photographe, you've covered the one and only Ermengarde mansion. What's next on the agenda?
The interview?
Boring. It's an interior design and housing magazine.
And they want to know what Miss Wright has to say about her interior design and house.
Honor Wright thinks she bought a magnificent house that she can certainly brag about. Blah, blah. Boring. You know what they should print more of? I watched an interesting documentary the other day. Le Foncé, the darkest hours of the Black British. I recommend you watch it.
I love her.
Those are the things that people should know about. What do they care if I use a purple or green bowl of fruit in my kitchen?
I love her. I love her.
People, right?
Oui. People are shite. What do you think? Do I look good with this angle?
I strike a pose while he's being busy, looking taken aback for a moment, probably not expecting me to just go and say such crass words. But he quickly recovers, and after snapping a few shots, he grins.
Yeah, vous êtes belle.
Vous êtes belle.
You want copies of these ones?
Yes, please. So, the big boy knows French. You must have wooed a few ladies. Unless you're into gents. Either way, French is, after all, the language of romance.
No, I don't know about quoting fancy poetry, but I've made lunch for a girl before, and they did like that fancy French cuisine.
I love him.
Can you cook bouillabaisse?
Bouillabaisse.
I can cook just about anything as long as I know the recipe.
C'est magnifique.
It has been too long since I've had a nice and proper chat with a good friend. No, Lee is certainly not a good friend. And although we've just met, Zachary is the sort who can probably befriend anyone. He's just a comfortable person to be around. A bit too comfortable. Love him. The photo shoot went by a breeze. And somewhere along the way, as we talk and laugh, I find myself getting a bit too close without realizing. He'll give me this strange look until I back off, and he'll go back to asking questions after I agreed to do this little interview. And it's just odd. Well, no. Me being friendly isn't that odd, it's how I am. Zachary is the one that's being odd. Why, anyone else would absolutely welcome the extra attention I give them. He, on the other hand, looks almost flustered about it. He should be used to different personalities by now, having to deal with various people where he works. If not, he needs to start. Perhaps nobody has shown him attention of this kind, but he's a big boy. He should be able to handle me. All it is a friendly touch here, a pretty smile there, and a gentle swaying of the hips as I move around. Zachary grew and grew more red every time he noticed. Am I being mean as I find enjoyment in seeing him unravel? Perhaps. This went on during the interview and beyond that. There's nothing wrong with what we're doing, right? Zachary and I are just having a playful, friendly chat while enjoying the outside view. At least that's how I see it.
I'm sorry, but I'm really getting distracted. Could you maybe stop doing that?
Oh, he's such a gentleman. Stop. I'm married. I'm married.
I'll stop if it makes you uncomfortable, sweetie.
I am married.
Sorry.
No, I should be the one apologizing. Why, you're a shy one, aren't you, big guy?
It's not that, but...
He gestures to the ring on my finger and lets the fact of the matter hang heavily between us. Being told implicitly that I am too forward is not a common occurrence. I think I'm more stunned at the fact that he pointed it out rather than, well, being rejected. Not that anything is going to happen between us in the first place. It's just going to be some harmless flirting. Right?
So, you've never had a girlfriend?
No. No boyfriend either. Now, just in case you were gonna ask for that one next.
And you haven't even had your first kiss?
Not a one, ma'am.
Do you want to have your first kiss today?
Oh, I can't help it. I really, really can't. And I'm going to apologize lots later. Surely by the catty smile on my face, it's obvious that I'm just pulling his leg. The laugh I fail to contain certainly gives it away if it isn't still obvious. But still he lights up in embarrassment, stammering and sputtering objections.
You're married, and this will be extremely unprofessional.
Oh, Zach. Marry me, Zach.
I never said I would kiss you, silly. Oh, Johans!
No, what? No. Don't call your butler. She's Hannah.
That would be for the better. I don't think his husband would appreciate it if I made him kiss another man. I do not think he can hear us from here either. But it is hard to think you're not taken, Zachary. Why, whoever becomes your girlfriend will be so lucky to have you. You can cook and take wonderful photographs, wonderful meals and wonderful memories.
I can play guitar too.
You can? Oh my, wonderful serenades as well then. Perhaps I can find a young lady who deserves a fine, strapping young gentleman like yourself.
Let's not get carried away. Besides, I gotta be going. It's getting late and I got someplace else to be.
Well, I mean, you gotta be proud of yourself, right? If you have talents in you, I mean, it's okay to be confident.
A shame. I will be expecting you again soon, I hope. For a copy of my photographs, yes?
Of course. I'll even deliver them personally. Just, don't try to make me kiss your butler when I drop by.
As fate would have it, the very moment the words leave his mouth, Johannes comes out of the house. Judging by the slight raise of his eyebrows, he has heard only the tail end of the sentence.
There shall be no kissing of any butlers under this roof. Danke.
But you are not under a roof, are you, Hansi?
To my amusement, he takes a step back, safely placing him within the threshold of the foyer and under the roof of the house. And just as ever, he is quick to return with a sardonic reply.
I am now. As I was saying, madam, it's about time for supper. Will I be needing to set an extra place at the table?
Oh, what? No, I was just leaving, actually. So, you have a good night, Hannah. And you too, Hansi.
It was nice to meet you, Zach, honey. You have a safe trip.
He nods, and the grin on his face as we say our goodbyes is the sweetest that I've ever seen. I linger looking out for him with his relatively tiny bicycle backpack safely secured in the basket by the front, and suitcase to the back. I watched as he went down the path to Anselm Village until he is nothing more than a blip in the horizon. I cannot help the small smile on my face as I go inside for supper. Oh, that's good music. I'm so happy. Entering the dining hall causes me so much confusion. It's dark. For a moment, I thought the electric work is not up to par. But that clearly is not the case, as every other room is bright with artificial light. Finding this light switch is a monumental task, considering the size of my with the room. To make matters worse, the darkness grants a different atmosphere, eerie and frightening. It takes longer than I would have thought to find the switch, something that will have to be rectified later on. My skin starts to prickle and there's the distinct feeling of being watched. It unsettles me and only spurs me on in my search. And when I do open the lights, there's a hiss.
I'll turn the lights down, woman.
Oh. There, at the end of the table, is my beloved husband with his face in one hand and a glass in the other. Perhaps I can let it go if it's only a glass of wine. However, I can feel myself go livid after seeing the toxic green liquid gleam mockingly at me.
Luke, what? Are you drinking absinthe?
Oh boy.
You know what the doctor said. Absinthe, Luke.
God damn.
Are you actively trying to kill yourself? Because if you are, we can just hit you with a bloody car.
Honeybee, Buttercup, not too loud, please. Besides, it's Lelouch, not too strong. Just hair of the dog that bit me. Helps with the hangover, dearest.
You drank? When?
This morning, love. Don't be mad. I just needed a few drinks, having to deal with those simpletons. And maybe I had one too much. You don't see me whinging about you leaving me to handle them on my own.
I had to attend the photo shoot and interview with Luxury Living. You know that. Let's not make this about me, Luke.
Lelouch.
This is about you and your drinking problem and...
Oh, I don't know, Hannah, darling. What if my drinking problem, as you like to call it, is linked to you?
How dare you?
If we think about it that way, this discussion is about you. That was pretty mean of you, leaving me alone to do all the work like that. You can't use the interview as an excuse either, honey. I was informed the moment your little interview was done. So, what was it then, What were you doing?
I was talking with Zachary, the photographer for Luxury Living.
Honesty, girl. Honesty. I have no reason to tell lies. It's not like I'm guilty of anything. But as Luke's expression turns, he makes me feel like I'm actually to blame for something. He has a way of making me laid bare with just a look. That had really struck me when we first met years ago.
That giant Negro? You were having a secret meeting behind my back and it was with him?
What are you implying?
I'm implying nothing. I'm just worried. You know better than to trust those media types, Buttercup. He must have been really friendly to occupy your time like that. But all he's looking for is his next big headline.
He's a photographer for an interior design magazine.
Doesn't matter. You let one little thing slip, one wrong move, and it'll blow up in the telly in the morning.
I hate you, Luke.
He'll go to his journalist friends to gossip and make a quick quid.
His eyes were the first thing I noticed about him. They were like nature, the grass and the trees, wonderful and breathtaking. Now, as I look at him, they're nothing but the same shade of green as the bloody damn drink in his hand.
He was a perfect gentleman, Luke. I can't say the same for you as of recent.
Excuse me again? We're talking about you, Hannah.
No, I am pretty sure we were talking about you and your drinking problem, Luke, right?
Hangover forgotten during the course of this little spat, the man jumps to his feet and seethes. It looks like he's barely stopping himself from throwing the nearest thing he can find.
Oh, it is not a problem. I can stop whenever I want. And even if it was, I think you can very well stay out of it, as it only affects my own kidneys or liver or whatever the bloody hell that shite pollutes. Whatever aftermath that occurs because of your little chit-chat with the Negro affects the both of us, however.
I was faithful to you.
Look, Luke, nothing will happen. You have to relax. It was just a friendly chat.
Well, now I think I'm getting jealous. Or I would be if it weren't for this damn headache.
Maybe you should drink more.
Maybe.
Supper is spent in silence with nothing but the occasional sound of silverware. A grand feast has been served, well, grander than usual anyway, but most likely due to Luke's complaints of stress. A platter of native oysters for starters, and a tranche of turbot with purple sprouting broccoli, lemon, capers, and anchovy sauce for the mains. I finished it all off with black tea and golden syrup sponge pudding with custard. But when our appetites were appeased and the plates are cleared away, Luke stands, kisses me goodnight, and leaves me to stare at my half-empty cup. Lonely in the lull of night, I sit in a house too big and too empty, foreign and unwelcoming. Even with its warm tone and homely decor, it feels cold. There's no need for tears, however. I know I can get through this like every other obstacle I have faced before. This is a minor setback in what I hope to be a long and happy life. To remind myself that this place is for Luke and for our future children fills me with a renewed vigor. So, something to take note of. I guess that's why he got so excited when he heard about the wine cellar in the other story, the other perspective. Oh boy. Besides, it looks like someone is having a cry already. The wailing is far away and muffled, yet at the same time it shakes me to my very core as I hear it. As if the suffering is just standing right beside me. Hearing it sends a chill down my spine and it makes my skin prickle with goosebumps. Who is that? Curiosity sinks in as I follow the sorrowful sound into the kitchen and into the wine cellar hatch.
Hello? Is anybody down there?
Oh, I am curious and concerned, but there's no way I'm going down into a dark and human underground. I'm not as enthusiastic as Luke, who considers himself quite the connoisseur. However, I also cannot bring myself to go to bed with this racket going on. If it is one of the household help, they will surely need some talking. After all, this wouldn't be the first time I've gone and found one of the maids sobbing their eyes out over one thing or another. As professional as our staff are, they're still human. More often than not, it was either Johannes or I who'd calm them down, who'd help them figure out how to go on about things. Unfortunately, I'm not in high spirits right now, so I'm not as wholly benevolent. So I will... I don't like that choice. Well, if we call them out, we have the opportunity to run. No, but you want me to go? I don't want to open it. I don't want to die. You really want her to die? You want her to die. That's what I'm hearing. She's gonna die. Listen, let me tell you, if we open that hatch, she is going to die. Tell me you want her to die and I'll open the hatch. If you don't want her to die, I'm not opening it. This is not a pleasant choice. I don't like this. Well, I don't regret this. Steven, you have to do a playthrough. You have to do one for me. Hi, Willow. Hi. Please tell me you'll do a playthrough, pretty please. I knock 3 times. Waiting for any sort of reply gives me no results, and I've already touched the floor, had far too many times than what I'd like. I take a deep breath before reaching out again to whoever's inside. I've learned from experience that people respond better to kindness than threats. Shouting angrily would not help in coaxing them out.
You in the cellar? Do come out.
Oh god. Cause you're so I need to turn that down for a minute. BK, so different choices are going to yield drastically different results because in this game there is over 150 or like 140 achievements or something like that, which means that everything you do is drastically going to change the story, I imagine. So if you go through it and you make different choices than me, it's going to be a different story with interesting new results. That's what I think. And I would just love to see that. Huh. We're probably going to die also because she's not stupid. She's not being smart and leaving.
We don't want Luke waking up and finding you in there, do we? That man would go ballistic thinking someone was trying to steal his precious wine.
Still nothing.
You can have a good cry. Just not in there, yes? Why don't you come out here and we can have a cuppa and you can tell me all about whatever it is you're bawling about?
With how long I'm standing here, however, I'm starting to think of myself as a fool. I did not want to acknowledge the other feeling I have, especially as the wailing took an eerie turn. The thought of being played with didn't sit too well with me, and I had to stop myself from getting too hot-headed as I tried one more time.
No, you come out of there! That is an order from the lady of the house, do you hear me? Why, I ought to...
I should have opened it. I should have opened it. You were right. You were right. I freeze as a hand clamps down on my shoulders. The dread I've been feeling all this time makes itself known as I kneel unmoving, not even daring to breathe. I can feel my heart pounding against my chest, but the touch is gone as quickly as it had seized me. It is only Johannes I see when I look back.
Apologies, madam, for touching you like that. You were not responding to my voice, and you looked about ready to wake the whole mansion up.
I was... Oh, I'm sorry. I was getting rather loud, wasn't I? But that crying woman in there, we must do something about her.
He grows silent for a moment and just looks concerned. At least I'd like to interpret it as concern given how stoic our head butler usually is. Or rather, it must have been concern as he takes a glove off and presses the back of his hand to my forehead before his worrisome inquiry.
I beg your pardon. What crying woman? Are you feeling well, madam?
In the cellar. Can't you hear her?
Oh, she still hears her.
Madam Hannah, no one is down there.
Ah, he says Hannah.
What?
The cellar is locked. Only Luke and I have duplicates of the keys. Nobody is down there.
I stare at him in disbelief. But when I listen once more, I hear no crying. Tugging at the hatch for good measure to prove his words to be true, too. The thing won't budge unless I had the key, short of using power tools on it.
Perhaps it is time for you to go to bed, madam.
What are
You are
I?
simply tired and hearing things, a perfectly normal human experience. But if you are still experiencing auditory hallucinations in the morning, you are free to consult with me.
There's a cold feeling in the pit of my stomach as he helps me up to my feet. What he says makes sense, and who am I to question someone who used to be a doctor? I am just tired. That's it. Long day of moving, the interview, dealing with Luke. That had all drained me of any proper sense.
Yes, I suppose you're right. I just need some sleep, that's all.
Of course I'm right. Go on then. Gute Nacht.
Good night, Johannes. Good night, house.
Don't like that. It's just fatigue. That's what I keep telling myself, although I can't ignore the strange feeling in my gut. Either there's something wrong with this house, or there's something wrong with my head. Sleep will be elusive tonight. Luke is already gone by the time I rise. There isn't a single hide nor hair of him to be found, and trying to call him on his mobile is a bust as it goes straight to his voicemail. That's twice in a row he's gone on me. And for him to disappear today of all days is every bit as upsetting because of what's to come. The morning is once again filled with a whirlwind of activity. Fortunately, I am much more refreshed as I took a break from my responsibilities. I haven't the faintest clue where Luke was yesterday. Today is going to be a busy day, although unlike Wednesday, the master of the house is in here right now, absent once again from his duties. Hopefully he'll be back in time for the party. This is our house, after all. A grand housewarming party for the wonderful Wright Mansion. Every person of importance from the Luxembourg is invited, and there will be a few guests flying in as well. Of course, there will be some people from the media, along with friends and acquaintances who are made no less important, regardless of their status in society. Marianne and I discussed business and last-minute touches to the house before finalizing everything. Not that there's much change from our original plans. Bar any huge additions to the property itself, the mansion is nearly 100% complete.
You have certainly exceeded expectations, Marianne. Everything looks so marvelous, and in such a short time, too.
Well, I can't take all of the credit. People have certainly been enthusiastic about the idea of working on the Wright mansion. There won't be any more problems unless Mr. Wright has any more objections about the second bedroom.
Luke and I had a small tiff about making the second bedroom into a child's playroom, which I insisted is completely practical. And he had to acquiesce. I didn't give him any choice in the matter. I even bought this wonderful wooden crib from the antique store yesterday, including some toys. Just in case anyone brings their baby, of course. Besides, we have little need for actual guest rooms. We hardly have guests to spend the night. If we absolutely have to, we can often choose to foot the bill for their visit on one of our hotels instead. Always at Luke's own insistence. And on the off chance that we actually let someone stay, the bedroom in the opposite wing is still up to the task.
Oh, no. We proceed with that room as planned. I already agreed to him having his greenhouse and his vineyard and his stables. He may as well let me have this one thing.
That's fair. No, I did not agree to him having a helipad.
All right, then.
Oh, right, from the other.
Well, do we have any other concerns? Anything we need to put on our agenda before the party commences?
No, I don't think so. Not unless Luke has anything else to say.
Is he around then? It'd be best if we can note down his request right away, considering the scope of his usual ones.
Right. Around? No. Where is he? Who knows where? I don't.
No, he's not around.
Was he in the cellar? She didn't have to point out the obvious now, did she? After 7 long years, I'd already gotten used to him. I should be by now. Still not, apparently.
But don't you have a party?
I want nothing more than to complain, to whinge about how unfair this is. However, airing out one's dirty laundry is simply taboo among high society. To do so will make you a ripe target for our next dinner party chit-chat. Vultures, a lot of them. Really. Well, most of them, at least. There are always good ones like Rochelle Lee. But put your trust in the wrong person and you'll find yourself eagerly picked apart.
Yes. But Luke's just being a sweetie, you see. That friend he's visiting, he's having marital problems and he's just trying to cheer him up.
Right. Perhaps I'm being a bit too rash, a bit too hot-headed in divulging details. But I thought myself clever with the plan to dress it up as gossip. Marianne's raised brow make me unsure whether she is interested or not. Although that does make things better if she has no interest and therefore has no hidden intent to utilize what I may say to her.
They've been married for a long time and they've hit a... how do they say it? A rough patch.
A rough patch, yes. An icy patch. Okay, I'll wait right here for you. Right. So, I think Zero is asleep. So, it's me and Willow. And I think that's it right now. If you're there, Willow, hello? How are we doing tonight? I'm doing okay. D&D really helped me out earlier and put me in the mood for streaming and everything. I had a really rough morning, but I took a nap, got myself right, spent the day with you guys, went out, got food, and did a stream, and doing a lot better now. It's been a fun day. I think you guys inadvertently tackled a lot of my mental damage and helped me so much. So, super grateful to you guys for that. Now I'm trying to maintain a British accent for an entire stream, and I don't feel like I'm doing too great at it, but I'm trying my best. Yeah, I don't know if Zero mentioned this at all, but D&D was something that was super special to me, and when all this stuff happened with my friend, our group ended up disbanding, and it took me a long time to get back into D&D, but meeting you guys and starting a group together meant a lot. It was like, I guess, like getting a piece of me back, and yeah, I know it's probably just a silly game to some people, but to me it meant so much, so I'm still touched. This is the dice that gave me all my good rolls. Just a regular old blue one. All my high rolls came from this die. And I just rolled a 19. My bad rolls all came from this die. And I just rolled a 4. So I think these dice are blessed and cursed. That's a 16 and an 8. Same two dice. That's a 20 and an 8. Same 2 dice. That's an 18 and a 4. Same 2 dice. That's a 13 and a 2. Same 2 dice. There we go. There's an 11 and a 6. Opposite dice. It took a while. I have lots and lots of dice, but I only mostly use those ones. But this is probably my favorite one. Ow. Focus. I know. Oh, we're such a good group together. I love it. Antics. Wish it wasn't once a week. I wish it was more constant, but I know we all need our breaks. But yeah, no, seriously, it was something. Meow. Ah. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. And you and I are so mobile that we're probably never going to get hit by very much. If I use my feline agility, I can move 80 feet in one turn. So I should have utilized that a little more, but I didn't remember I had it until around the end of the fight. So yeah, no joke. And I can apply that to climbing too. Tabaxir, no joke. If someone casts haste on me, that gets even more ridiculous too. Or like if I was a monk. Oh my god. I'm starting to think that Stellar's grandfather's talking to him or something. That's usually the reason it takes a little longer sometimes. So I appreciate everyone's patience while we wait. Nope, it's okay. Welcome back. I assumed Lewis was talking to you or something. Really? Wow. Willow and I were just talking about D&D a little bit. That's curious. May I ask what you saw? Well, I won't make you answer, but I am curious nonetheless. Okay. Well, as lovely as that chat was, let's get back to the story.
His wife has a drinking problem and can be very neglectful. The poor thing really does his best to be a good husband. But it's never enough for her. Sometimes I think it's the years. Maybe it's been so long that they've lost that romantic spark.
Prey doesn't exist on this island.
What What do you think?
You were asking for my personal opinion on the matter, ma'am? Do you want me to be honest, or...
Be honest with me.
Be honest with me, Marianne. I don't need someone to sugarcoat it. I'm not some fragile thing that I'm just going to break down at the slightest thing.
She hesitates, taking a sip of her coffee while I stare into my own cup of tea. How gross. The silence stretches on, and I almost believe that she will never answer my question. I suppose that I shouldn't blame her putting her in a tight spot like this. Her hesitation is understandable, though I loathe to admit it, and she simply wants this whole thing to stay professional. But then she speaks.
If I'm going to be completely honest, I need to ask. This is about you and Mr. Wright, isn't it?
It's my turn to hesitate now. I really didn't expect such a straightforward question. To get to the heart of the matter, I suppose I'm not as clever as I'd like to think. Was it really that bad that an outsider can see our little marital troubles? Surely we aren't that obvious, are we? We've put up the act of a perfect couple for years, although it hadn't always been an act. Marianne is just a more keen than average person, of course. It is a necessity to her career, and she's been working so closely with us. Yes, that's it.
Suppose it is. What would you tell me?
Then, I tell you it's none of my business. I tell you that I don't want to meddle. But, if the troubled husband with the neglectful wife asked me for my honest opinion, I'd say that he shouldn't base his happiness and his self-worth on someone else.
Yeah.
Someone who won't even give him the time of the day. Maybe
Damn.
he should try being independent for a while. See what it's like when he isn't trying to please someone else and doing things for himself.
Damn.
Everyone's supposed to be their own man or woman, right? A bit of breathing room never hurt anyone. That's just my 2 pence worth, of course.
So you're saying they should divorce?
Of course.
Nothing as drastic as that.
Do it.
If they're afraid that it might lead to just that, then maybe that is what's meant to happen in the first place. We shouldn't let our fear control our lives. But it's just a short hiatus is all. Or, couples therapy? Look, I'm really not the best person to ask about relationships. So grain of salt and all that.
She trails off, having said her piece, and leaves nothing but the smell of coffee and Earl Grey between us. There's a calm despite the nature of what has just been discussed. To say that her words make me start to think is an understatement. To say that I'm not considering her advice as a lie. And to say that this might be the calm before the storm is a possibility. Others have had shorter marriages, yes, but plenty have celebrated long and happy ones as well. My own parents celebrated their choral anniversary before they passed away. But 7 years? 7 years isn't a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. It isn't a whole lot of time to see what and where our relationship can bring us. At the same time, 7 years, well, it hasn't been entirely made up of unhappy years, has it? It won't last forever. It's not supposed to anyway. I just dread the thought that it might last for a very long time. I dread the thought that these small spats, these little disagreements, will turn into an all-out resentment. The idea that we will grow to hate each other with every fiber of our being scares me. I can't even pinpoint the exact moment when our blissful union turned sour. When did he start to seek other women, lacking any ulterior motives? When did we start to cooperate only to suit our materialistic greed and attention-seeking ways? Money and success, fame and glamour. Are those the only reasons we still stay together? There's a cough before Marianne clears her throat. I must have been quiet for so long, and I move to apologize when she stands up. We both end up on our feet, sure of how to proceed. Some sort of odd, awkward shuffle occurs as we decide whether to sit back down or not. Yes, you are. Teeny tiny little owl.
I really should handle what's left of the work.
You won't be attending the party. Oh, you really must, Marianne.
If you decide you want to change your avatar, there is some on the bottom. You can go through them and pick a different one if that's what you want to do.
I'll try to stay in chat. Maybe grab a few bites and a drink, but I can't be around for the entirety of the event. My apologies. Busy, busy, busy.
You must stay a while. I'd love for you to meet some of my friends, and they're ever so excited to meet you. You need to say hello to the Lees, at least. If it wasn't for them, I'd never even heard of you.
We'll see. So, if I can be excused?
Oh, you. Grab a few BW whites. Whites. Bull whites.
Certainly. You'll
Certainly.
have to excuse me as well. I must attend to the party before any early birds arrive. Because, believe me, they will throw a fuss if things aren't ready, even when they're not supposed to be here until an hour later.
The scene outside the parlor is a great organized mess. Aside from our own household help, we hired the service of the temp agency, which provides staff for the right enterprise in the hospitality sector. Even our very skilled staff cannot undertake a party of this size on their own. Waiters, busboys, hostesses, and a staff of captains move about in droves carrying crockery and serveware good for several dozen people and then some. Chefs and bartenders tail after Johannes, looking like scared little children as he escorts them through the kitchen into the wine cellar. To peruse the stocks to select what can be served at the party and what can be used for cooking.
Schnell! We have a lot to do, and I believe we did not hire snails. Snails are for the dishes.
The string quartet readies up to play for the evening, tuning their instruments as they fill the air with idle chatter. Flora decor worth thousands, field vases, wreaths, and baskets, and white petals are scattered along the driveway up front. An ice sculpture where a reindeer is brought in carefully by a pair. It is followed by a simple cake, just a 5-tier white chiffon, one with white chocolate mousse, fresh berries, and a light dusting of edible gold leaf. But despite the fact that I told Marianne I will attend to all of this, I find myself unable to focus or care about any of it. I still have our discussion running in my mind, and looking into all of this, I see Luke elsewhere, or only see Luke everywhere. These are all the grand things that Luke wanted to have for the party. I had wanted a small, elegant, and simple gathering, with only a select few invited, namely the people who I would actually trust enter my home. I did not want any bloody politicians or paparazzi here. No matter how used I am to catering them.
At least be here for your party. Damn it, Luke.
Oh. The entire thing screamed Luke right. I can't help but add another question to my growing list of queries. When did I lose myself? It's always about him nowadays, isn't it? He sure did. What about Hannah Wright? What about Hannah Evans? I used to be my own woman who made her own name, her own career, and her own decisions. Of course, I was already the social butterfly that I still am today, but it wasn't all empty, shallow gossip and sitting pretty. I was also lauded for my knowledge and talent. The finance manager wasn't just handed to me just because my father owned the company. I had insisted that I start at the bottom so I could work my way up to the top and prove myself. And I did. I worked numbers, managed budgets, money and accounts, analyzing the competition and market trends. There was the calculation of financial risk and cost reduction opportunities, auditor liaison, and public relations, supervision of staff, and, well, I had a huge slew of responsibilities. Admittedly, I was already quite the attention seeker even back then, having dedicated most of my youth craving for my parents' approval. Failing that, I turned to others, looked for praise from anyone who would give it, however fleeting it all was. Luke. Oh, Luke. The way he looked at me, the way he watched me and took a genuine interest. He had me disgustingly obsessed since day one, hasn't he? He saw me for me, Hannah Evans, with both my faults and my achievements. The man didn't treat me like some damsel in distress or some prize to be won. I remember the nights before we were married, where we talked about everything and anything. From big things like business, society, and philosophy to little things such as what we had for breakfast and whether we liked cats or dogs more. We both prefer dogs. Nowadays, I'm just Luke Wright's wife. It's mostly my fault, isn't it? They told me that husbands preferred wives who were docile and subordinate. A woman who would always be there for him, yet would never outshine him in all aspects except beauty. A wife needs to be at home and attend to his needs, to have children and to take care of them in his absence. He said I have no business working anymore after I was married. I can blame society, but I listened. Before I can fall further into this introspective pit of self-loathing, someone calls for my attention.
The guests have arrived, madam.
Okay.
And Luke?
Running a bit late, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I bet.
Late for his own party. That man, I swear. He's probably looking to make a dramatic entrance, knowing him.
I don't have a good feeling.
Open the doors, then. We mustn't hurry.
Cars line up the driveway and peppering the front of the mansion with vehicles of every kind. Grand Tourers, supercars, and even the odd high-end muscle car to convertibles, grand saloons, and other luxury cars can be seen being parked by valets. A handful of cabs drive off, possibly for those who thought it's too troublesome to bring their own cars. There are at least 2 different media events as well. They're all here for what may be considered the biggest event of the year for the Luxembourg so far. Who knows what we'll plan for the winter holidays?
Welcome everyone. Please make yourselves at home.
Some of the guests idle and enjoying the warm, if not strange, sunshine we are experiencing before gloomy skies inevitably return. We greet acquaintances and friends with warm smiles, others less so. From where I stand, I can see the hierarchy of power, the tiers that bind these individuals, here whether through convenience or necessity. However, there are also a few who are not here to further cement their current place in high society. Such as that young man with his oriental air, ignorant of the looks he receives from women and men alike.
Be careful with Shirley, alright?
Man from the Orient. Or that rose-haired woman talking on a phone while she looks unsure of why she is here exactly.
Yes, I'm at the party already, Mom. Yes, I'll say hi to her if I can.
When is this happening? I see Zachary, the photographer, as well. He talks to a few of the other media crew with an air of familiarity.
I was just here a few days ago, yeah.
Yeah.
And the inside is huge, but the staff are pretty helpful if you get lost.
I had invited Father Norman, too. It's the least I can do after he blessed the mansion on my request, aside from my small donation to the church, of course. But the poor man had taken ill and went through a nervous breakdown of some sort the other day. And then there are people like the chief inspector. People who I can never be too sure about. People who stand on the border between being suspicious and being trustworthy.
Thank you for the invite, Anna.
Thank you, ma'am.
Husband still missing, I see.
I don't know where he is.
I should be saying the same of your darling Rochelle, Lee. The doctors again?
She told me she'll just be in the gardens. Bet she's lying and that she's somewhere around mingling, gossiping with the other ladies.
The other ladies.
No offense, but that seems to be all you ladies do at these parties.
Oh, you asshole.
And aren't you gossiping right now?
Yes, well, what about Luke? Should we file a missing persons report now, or do you want to wait 24 hours?
He's around.
You know, I can tell if someone's bluffing. Don't tell me, let me guess. He's finally drunken himself to death and not wanting a scandal. You've hidden his body.
Uh-oh.
I was wanting to give this housewarming gift to him personally, too.
Uh-oh.
It's a plate that holds a wine glass so he can stop killing himself with liquid lunches. Looks like it's too late for that.
Stop.
Nothing like that. Besides, this is a hardly polite conversation.
Oh, relax. I'm just trying to be cheeky to lighten the mood.
That's really
So I
concerning,
don't
then.
want Luke dead.
I really don't like this. I really don't like
The
this.
man doesn't serve dodgy plonk like the others when I visit, and he pays his respects well enough. Could use a glass of wine or three, actually.
Hi, Peter. Welcome in. Welcome to the whole stream of me being British, because the main character in this section is British.
Michelle's been in a horrid mood. Threw her stilettos at me the other day and almost took an eye out.
Well, goodness.
Not sure if this is how it usually goes, but I blame the pregnancy.
Yeah, I bet you do, you jerk.
I wouldn't know, would I?
Still no plans for a baby? Well, I guess that's for the best. If it's this bad now, I can't even imagine how bad it'll be when that little baby bump becomes huge.
I don't understand that meme. I mentioned how I don't trust him, no matter how hard I try to do so. At least I brought a gift, I suppose.
Why don't you just go inside and have some wine, Lee?
Think I will, thanks.
Greetings such as these carry on as the guests continue to trickle in. Whether we have short conversations or merely shake hands and nod heads, I make sure to attend and welcome each of them. As the first hour passes us by, the rest of the stragglers and I adjourn to the ballroom. Any latecomers will have the attention of the porter instead. I have other duties to attend now. Hosting parties is always the same old song dance, no matter how big or small it is. You make sure your guests are well fed and have good company and have them generally enjoy themselves. When my opening remarks are done, when the band has started to play and the guests have started eating, I find myself wandering around aimlessly unless I'm pulled aside. For a while I stay with a small group and entertain them before excusing myself. And when they're not anymore watching me, I end up watching them. When they don't listen, I do. A local banker is having trouble with his daughter. He wishes to marry her off, but she wants nothing more than to make music. One of our hotel managers worry about the stolen belongings of one of his patrons, a feeling insecurity which should be brought up to a higher authority soon. Our mayor, well, his cat died. Then there's that rose-haired woman once again. It is hard not to notice her with her distinctive looks. She also lacks the grace that the other ladies have, though that does not make her any less beautiful. Her stance and the air she exudes instead are strong, and they make her stand out despite her casual attire. Many men have already given her their attention, though each invitation to dance has been turned down. I approach intrigued, although it is no great mystery what occupies her attention with the glances she keeps sending towards the boy with the oriental hair. Well, we don't necessarily know anyone's dead yet, because we don't know. Well, I mean, Rose died. Rose definitely died. Ash is at this party. And in this story, I don't think that we know for sure if that death has happened yet, because we don't know what time that happened compared to this one. So that's something to keep in mind too. This is not Rose. This is Elizabeth. Rose is the green-haired girl, and I haven't seen her yet. Yeah, you would think that the girl that's rose-colored would be named Rose, but she's not. Nope, this is Elizabeth. It's okay. She remains unaware, though, even as I stand beside her, pretending that I am there for a drink.
You would catch his eye a lot better if you wore nicer clothes, don't you think?
Yep, once a week. I play it on Wednesdays.
Didn't realize the housewarming was going to be this fancy. I would have gone with a nice dress if I knew.
Oh, you're fine, dearie. It's only really the parvenus, those who climb, that come to these parties all dolled up. Quite the black-haired beauty, isn't he?
The boy comes over, but I do nothing to speak any softer. He merely passes by, and it's a wonder he doesn't hear what I say.
Who, Ash?
You know, you really shouldn't have turned down those offers. If I wasn't married, I'd happily go dancing with those young men. But you said a name. Ash. That's the exquisite lad you've been looking at all this time. I don't know him, and I'm the one hosting this party. That must mean you know each other.
Safe bet.
Is he your boyfriend then? Because that would explain those rejections.
Ooh, she's mad. In all my life, I've never seen a face grow red so fast. The shade of her hair did not help as well. This is the most pink I've seen on one person, really.
What? No, that's ridiculous. He isn't my boyfriend.
Such a violent reaction. A simple no would have sufficed. Nanny here would be happy to hear it.
And I haven't been looking at him.
She's cute.
That's right. You've been staring. Quite heatedly, in fact. Although I'm not sure if you look like you want to kiss him or kill him.
It's more the latter currently.
Just don't go murdering him on my property. I don't want to walk into a room and suddenly find a body there.
I don't like this talk about bodies. I waver. I feel the burning of someone's stares. It is chilling, and though I am used to enduring the gaze of others, this one makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. It is the chilling, and though I am used to the enduring the gaze of others, this one makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. My attention is pulled from the girl as I see a woman staring. Dark-haired and dirty, she looks more like a beggar than a guest, and I have half the mind to call the security at her when her mouth breaks out into a grin. All I hear is her laughing, taunting. Her stare makes my blood run cold. She looks at me like I am nothing but a pig to slaughter for her amusement. It makes my hand shake and I nearly drop my drink. But then in a blink she's gone and the buzz of the party returns.
I'll keep that in mind, but are you alright?
No.
Yes, sorry. I just thought I saw something strange. It must be the trick of the light. Anyway, on a right, as you must already know.
Rebecca Gales.
Gales.
Rebecca. I had her name wrong too. Or is that her professional name? The name is familiar, like a fond memory. I recall a kind lady, a private tutor, who treated me like her own daughter when I was young. even bring me food when there was no need to do so. Usually stovies, which I honestly hadn't been too keen about, though I ate them nonetheless, because she brought them for me.
Oh, the professor!
I don't see any reason why Ash would die right now, to be perfectly
And
honest.
your little Becky!
Becky.
My parents couldn't make it since they're in Scotland right now. And Mom says hi, by the way. But yeah, that's me. Little Becky. We met once before.
Wait, did I say her name was Rebecca or Elizabeth? I don't remember. It's Rebecca.
Yes, oh, I remember you! You were the cutest little thing with glasses! And when we met, you were having boy troubles with this lad called something with an A.
Even back then?
What was it again? Aaron, Alan, Adele, Albert, Alexander, Andrew?
We suspect her husband is probably dead. Ash isn't really an indicated potential death because there's nothing to indicate that he would be next, especially since he's still got a lot of story that hasn't been covered yet. But Anna's husband, Luke, is the main antagonist of her chapter, it seems like, other than this ghost. So, I mean, I Becca, no one forgets her name now. Little Becky. The more I list off names, the more red and the more quiet Becky gets. She starts to look a bit miserable as her body language shows discomfort and stiffness. Perhaps I've triggered a horrid childhood memory. Surely I hadn't been mean when she visited with her mother. I don't quite remember all of it.
Ashton! Ash!
That's it.
That man is that boy! The same one. Oh, goodness me, after all these years! I can see why, though. He's quite dashing.
You don't really need to announce it to everyone within earshot, you know? Keep it down.
I'm so sorry, but it really is cute.
It is cute. And a tad bit sad.
This is a nice party, Miss Wright.
Please, Anna's fine. We're friends of a sort, aren't we? We must be friends, seeing as I know about your little infatuation, Becky. Don't you worry, dearie. You'll have your happy ending yet.
I'm not too concerned about that, am I? That's not what I'm looking for.
Oh? And what makes you think that? Doesn't everybody want their happy ending?
The idea of happy endings sounds like they're just for fairy tales. And they are, sorta. I don't think you can just sit around, trapped in some tower and hope for the best. If you love them, you have to fight for it, right? You're not just going to sit there and hope that everything will just fix itself on its own. Like everything, you have to work at it. But what do I know?
There's a grimace, although she starts to relax around my presence. How long has it been since we met as children? Certainly a long time. She was tiny back then, if I recall correctly.
I'm sure the daughter of the two greatest professors I've ever known is smart enough to know what she's talking about. But have you told him how you feel? And it's been what? 20 years?
17, actually. But no, not yet. He can be a bit dense.
Sorry if that was a little loud.
I was hoping that maybe he'd notice on his own and...
Well, that won't do.
Excuse me.
What if you two become husband and wife? He's not to be dense when he's sworn himself to another person. Why, you might just as well consider leaving before the day's even begun.
If that happens, I'll have to give him a good ear bashing, won't I? Whoever anyone ends up with, it's not going to be a perfect relationship anyway. There's going to be things you'll love and things you'll hate about the other person. We're just humans.
That's fair.
It's funny. Here I am, trying to give you advice when you did the very same thing back then. I remember you giving me a makeover when we were still kids. And you were the first I told anyone about my crush.
I do remember now that she mentions it. Did I give her a yellow summer dress or a pink blouse and a petticoat? She must have kept some of what I said in mind. It feels ridiculous remembering all of that years later, talking about boys and how they go crazy for pretty girls, as if it's some gospel every woman should adhere to. It was so easy to say such things when, with me, not knowing any better. Though, looking at her now, she must have kept some of what I said in mind. Perhaps I did say something good at that time, enough for her to take it to heart. But all that didn't matter in the moment as I mull over what she said in my head. What Becky told me is very different from what Marianne told me. There's no time to ponder over that, however, as a hush descends upon the once lively crowd. The music of strings and the chatter slows to a grinding halt as the doors from the foyer open. The last of the latecomers should have arrived a moment ago, and anyone else this late would simply be too embarrassed to show their face. So this can only be one person, or rather, one man. There's only one man who is audacious enough to arrive at his own party so late.
Good evening, ladies and gents.
Okay,
Enjoying
he's
the
still
party?
alive. He's still alive, everyone. Well, rest assured, Luke is still alive.
I hope I'm not too late in welcoming you all to the right mansion.
Unlike I, who was raised in the spotlight and simply grew used to his presence, he sought it out every chance he could, when there was no spotlight that shone. And I'll never put it against him when he smiles like that. He did so quite brilliantly under the scrutiny when he channels his showmanship. You can tell by the way people's eyes light up as he speaks, how they listen enraptured by, or even if all he's doing is a simple greeting. A little wave of his hands here, a little smile there, and a bit of swagger. They always tell him that if he is not to be a businessman, he'll do well as an entertainer. I love this side of him, especially when he looks at me and he beckons me over to humbly share his space. Not a single second is wasted as I excuse myself from Becky's side and I make my way to Luke's.
Welcome one and all to our humble abode. Tonight, if you have yet to find yourself in your roles, you are all ladies and lords of the court of your king and queen, if you would excuse my presumptuousness. So, enjoy the feast that has been laid out for your senses as we only allowed the best to be served.
Okay.
Enjoy the rest of your night, everyone.
There's a round of applause, cheers, and even some hoots. Guests approach us left and right to shake Luke's hand and greet him personally, praises on their lips. It is because of this that I do not see her. I do not see her until she is dangerously close, with fury in her eyes that she's already spitting venom. Ooh. Johannes restrains her, taking not the unnecessary harm. Sorry, let's try that again. Johannes restrains her, taking care not to unnecessarily harm the pregnant woman. But that does little to deter her rage, and the man has no choice but to let her go unless an unborn child is hurt. Although it might be too late for that, as I see an empty glass of wine in her hand. How much is she imbibed in?
Are you feeling ill, Rochelle? Perhaps you need to sit down and...
No! Shut it, you munter! I ain't talking to you! I'm talking to this scumbag over here! You bloody bastard standing there with your smarmy smile!
She interrupts me, jabbing her finger in my direction before she rounds on Luke. Even as whispers and murmurs break out among the guests, all I can focus on is the heat of the moment. Obviously intoxicated, judging by the smell of alcohol on her breath. I'm not ticked off about this little display of hers, not in the least yet. but I am absolutely pissed by the fact that she'd endanger her own baby by drinking. There is a considerable amount of restraint and grace that I must exercise while I wait for her tantrum to subside. I keep a patient, if tight, smile on my lips. Luke's expression, on the other hand, is indecipherable.
Watch your tongue! You're on thin ice, Rochelle.
What happened?
Where's your husband? Who even invited you?
I did.
And I told you with great emphasis not to. Now we have a drunk, hormonal, pregnant woman causing a stir. What is even going on?
I'm just about to ask the exact same thing. Don, hi! Welcome to the stream where I'm going to be British for the entire stream because the main character for this section is British. I hope your work meeting is going well and it's super good to see you.
I don't know. But Rochelle, do calm down before you hurt yourself. I can't understand a word you're saying.
Where is that husband of yours? Lee! Collect your wife right now!
Don't you fucking talk like I'm not here and you're not responsible, you ass!
Dang.
You told me that I should wait for you in the gardens.
Excuse me. What is this nonsense you're going on about?
Crazy talk. That's all it is. Just completely and utterly mad. Has anyone seen the Chief Inspector?
I am pregnant with your little bastard. You promised me you'll take responsibility.
Oh no.
God damn it, Luke. I finally got you to talk to me after months of silence, and you do this to me.
After she cared so much. What?
What do you mean you're pregnant with? Luke, is this true?
Lies and slander, woman! Security! Johans, take her out of here before she makes an even bigger fool of herself!
Wow.
No, you do not do this to me. I was so ready to leave my stupid oaf of a husband. I told you to leave that damn wife of yours. Look at her. Does she look like she wants a baby? Does she look like she could take care of a baby?
I thought we were friends. It is now that Johannes returns with security, along with a concerned-looking Officer Lee. They surround her and move to escort the hysterical woman. Judging by his pale face, he has heard the whole thing, and I feel nothing but pity for the man. Not that I believe Rochelle. Luke will never go so far as to sleep with another woman. Right?
I'm so sorry for her behavior. She's been under a lot of stress. And the alcohol. Talking nonsense, that's all it is. You're not allowed to drink because of the baby, Shelley. What are you thinking?
Nothing to see here, people. Move along.
Is there really nothing here but the ramblings of a drunk?
That's not true. Is it, Luke? Please tell me she's just lost the plot.
Don't be a blooming muppet, Hannah. Of course she's lying, creating a scandal for attention.
That's lovely. You'll be world famous in no time, I believe.
If the baby isn't Lee's, she's probably gotten herself knocked up by one of her employees, and she's accusing me for money! Fuck!
Yeah.
How stupid can you be?
Excuse me. I just wanted to hear your word. There's no need for such crass language.
Yes, there is a need for such fucking crass language, because you've been nothing but a pain recently.
Aw, sorry to hear that.
I told you not to invite her, and look what she's done. And not just recently, for a while in fact. I'm sick and tired of having to look after your clingy, spoiled ass! You've been derailing my schedule and my plans, questioning my priorities and my decisions. You can be worse than a hormonal pregnant woman at times, even.
Wow.
How touched in the head are you that I need to hold your hand?
Speak no more. We are done here, and we'll talk about these matters in privacy. Now.
No, why don't we hash it all out here? Because every time we talk about our problems in private, you start crying your fucking eyes out.
I should have expected this of Luke. To put us in the limelight, thinking I will back down because we've an audience. Well, he has another thing coming for him, doesn't he? I am just as livid as he is because of his disrespect. Our happy marriage is quickly crumbling under our own 2 feet, yet I can't give a rat's arse. If this is how it goes, so be it.
You dare!
Drama llama.
I dare.
Oh boy.
I dare, Buttercup, because I've kept quiet about this.
Oh, you've kept quiet about it? How rich!
Yes!
No, I've had enough of this! Do you think I don't see when you try to creep up some whore and get up her skirt? You would be nothing without me. Your company would be buried in debt and you'd be begging on the streets if it weren't for me!
And she's right.
She lies! Don't listen to her!
And I've had enough of you. So guess what? Fuck you, Luke.
Hannah, no!
We agreed to never talk of this woman!
Did we? I don't remember. But it's all true. Right Enterprise would be nothing but a precautionary tale if Evans Incorporated didn't agree to merge into a conglomerate. You asked that we keep your family name because you said it was so important to you. Your legacy. I agreed because, damn it, Luke, I loved you and I still do. But all you really want is the money and the power's all gone to your head. Face it, Lucille Mitchell Wright. You owe me everything.
I owe you everything. I owe you everything? Who's running the business now while you sit at home like a pretty princess?
If I recall, you told me to retire so that I can enjoy my time as Mrs. Luke Wright.
This is heavy!
I wouldn't even bother with other women if you were still Hannah Evans! You used to be your own woman! You used to be someone who I could fucking look up to! Now look at you! If I wanted some brainless bint, I'd go to the whorehouse and play any old strumpet like a fucking fiddle.
Oh my god.
That's all you are now. A brainless, good-for-nothing.
A slap echoes in the ballroom. I didn't even realize that I lifted my hand against him. Not until he's already clutching his reddened cheek, eyes wide, and unspoken curses hanging from his lips.
It. This party is over! Everybody leave before I have you all thrown out!
There's a shuffling as the near-forgotten audience can't decide whether they are to mill about and wait for what might happen next or do as instructed. Their minds are made up for them as Luke storms towards the door, slams them open, and roars.
Go!
And as if they are awakened from a trance, the crowd starts to leave one by one. Some of the noisier ones, media and the like, tried to stay, but they are eventually dragged away by security. They slowly trickle out from the busboys and waiters to the musicians and the bartender. Even our butler leaves us, closing the door to the ballroom shut behind him. Then and there, didn't know what to say. Should I apologize for striking him? Yet every part of me is still shaking in anger. I want to scream every bit of hatred I have for him, every ounce of bitterness, things that I couldn't say before. But I also feel tired.
Oh, Hannah, what am I going to do with you?
He laughs. Before I can respond, he leaves. To where? I don't know. I'll never find out, as I don't have the courage to follow him or leave this room. Slumping into the nearest chair, all I can see is his face, red and wide-eyed. His empty laugh echoes over and over. Only the walls act as my audience now, and I can feel their accusing eyes burn into me. There will be no sleep tonight. Golly, jeez. Okay, like normal, we're going to play to the 3-hour mark, so about 23 minutes left. Hopefully we can get through another section. And come morning, as we breakfast, the meal is silent and strained. I cut too deeply into my sausages and almost excused myself had I not spied Luke mashing and stirring his poached eggs with a fork like a petulant child. Conversation is terse, though that's no big surprise. What else can you say after you verbally lashed out at each other in public? Apologies seem like trifle things now in comparison to what transpired last night. I'm not the one to rush when eating, but withdrawing sounds like the best course of action. I can leave the dining hall, hole myself up somewhere where I won't be bothered. Well, he has work today. I almost have gotten away with it too if he did not speak up all of a sudden.
Hold on, wait. Don't go just yet. Please.
What is it, Lucille?
I have thought upon it that perhaps I am at fault for what happened yesterday and for your frustrations. I've been a neglectful husband, and if you would still have me, I hope to correct that.
Oh, really?
There's not much to do today for me, and I was hoping that we might be able to talk it out. If you are willing to still work it out with me, you will have my afternoon.
Just your afternoon?
He stands and approaches with steps, careful and wary. He treats me as if I'll take flight any moment, and it'd be ridiculous if I don't find it even a teeny bit endearing. And when he stands before me, he takes both my hands in his, ready with a declaration.
You will have my afternoon and every moment after for the rest of your life, if you are willing.
I don't trust you. I hate it. I hate how he can easily make me fall in love with him all over again.
Just this one chance. If you don't show up, I may very well just pack my bags and go, you hear me?
He's gonna kill me, isn't he? He's gonna kill me.
Loud and clear. Off to work I go then. Until later, Buttercup.
His grip is tight as he kisses my hand before letting it fall. I feel lighter in spite of it all. That leaves me the rest of the day with nothing, really. I thought I'll have to spend it making plans to leave this house and him, but instead he has me worrying and feeling relieved at the same time. It is quite paradoxical. Paradoxical. Yeah, no, if I ever get a choice, I'm out. I still have plans to eschew everything and everyone until the afternoon, which is proving to be quite difficult as everywhere I look, Johannes seems to appear out of thin air. I love our butler along with his wonderful husband and 2 darling children, but he never seems to understand the concept of privacy or personal space at the worst of times. A man is often quiet even when he works, and I can forget that while he's there, he's there with no trouble. It's the principle of things, however.
What are you doing?
He's told me to look after you.
Oh.
This isn't going to turn out well, you know.
Pardon?
You should just leave. If I were you, I'd left a long time ago. You have the choice to do so, you know. Not everyone does.
Is that what you've been stalking me all morning for? To tell me to leave my husband?
It is not going to turn out well, meine Freundin.
Looking back at Johannes, I see his unusually indifferent expression painted with concern. He still stands tall and his body betrays no emotion. But his mouth is set into a grim, harsh line, and there's a slight furrow in his brow. Curious and minute details that one won't find unless they care to look. And these little things trouble me. Still, if he believes that I will leave when Luke has extended an olive branch to me, well, he's wrong.
And that's your opinion, Johannes.
Let me leave!
If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to be left alone with my thoughts, please.
If you'd like privacy, I suggest finding it somewhere else, then. Somewhere outside the house, maybe?
I'm going to my room. Tell Luke that I'll be waiting for him there.
Stop.
I'd really rather not.
That's an order, Johannes.
Don't want to. The remaining hours pass with little fanfares. My wish to be alone is respected. I only see Johannes again when he brings me my supper. Bouillabaisse along with squidding brioche, something that I haven't requested, but I'm grateful nonetheless. And once more after that, to clear my plate away and inform me that Luke is back home. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. Hearing him call for me fills me with a certain dread for reasons I can't comprehend. Perhaps I'm just nervous about this little talk of ours. And something in the back of my head is nagging at me. Is it irrational? But I feel myself freeze in trepidation. To will myself to breathe, and when I am conscious of the fact that I've been holding it in.
Darling, love, Buttercup, why aren't you answering?
I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. It is with unease that I answer.
Upstairs, Luke.
There's a moment when I am nothing but a bundle of nerves. His footsteps echo in the hallway, and the creak of the door sends chills down my spine.
Here I am expecting a warm welcome home, and here you are locked up in the room like a shut-in.
Boy.
Oh, Hannah, what am I to do with you?
Oh, no.
You're looking a little bit pale. Are you all right?
I must have had something funny, actually. Maybe from the party last night. Maybe breakfast or lunch.
Is it the bouillabaisse or the brioche?
Johannes had been acting really strangely while you were gone.
Uh-oh.
Do you think?
Do I think what? That he poisoned you? Don't be silly. He wouldn't do such a thing unless I tell him to.
Fuck. He jokes and laughs. That does nothing to ease my nausea, and only makes my stomach churn even more. I try to smile and laugh along, but I cannot put on a fake face this time. Noticing my discomfort, he pulls me into his arms. In his hold, I feel safe. Or I should, at least. But there's still a stirring restlessness inside of me.
Don't you worry. If you are sick, I'll take care of you myself.
Oh my god.
I did tell you that you'll have my afternoon and every moment after for as long as you live, didn't I?
Shit.
I am just so worried about my poor wifey. That Rochelle woman had some nerve, and I've insulted your honor so.
Please get me an out.
My poor wifey has been through so much.
Let me duck and stab him. It's when I feel his hold turn painfully tight that the dread turns into fear.
My poor, spoiled wifey, Hannah fucking Evans.
Oh boy.
Silver spoon in her mouth.
Oh
Never
boy.
had to lift a finger in her goddamn life. Poor wifey trying to ruin everything for me. All that I've worked so hard
They didn't
for.
even let me try to
She'll
leave.
just take it all away. Just like that.
Come on, Ghost, show up and save me.
We've got to fix that. You know, you and I.
Wait, no.
We have to make sure you don't pull a dodgy stunt like the one you did
What a
last
grand
night.
and intoxicating
Even if
innocence.
we have to
How could you
take
be so
out of the
naive?
Picture permanently.
It is as he presses something sharp to my back that I realize far, far too late what he holds in his hands.
Why are you doing this?
Yeah. My life is in his hands, held hostage at knife's edge.
Because, Hannah, darling, it's never enough.
Oh boy.
I want it all.
And he wishes to end it. Does he not love me anymore? Has our ties eroded so badly that he'll even go this far? This is preposterous, surreal. Yet here I am, frozen in his embrace while he holds a knife to my back. The very man I loved and trusted the most is the one to kill me. And sadly enough, this is the longest he's held me for a while now. It is a contradiction, both beautiful and horrific. How did it come to this?
You don't have to do this. You can still have it all, Luke. Just please. Don't you love me?
That makes him pause.
Oh, I still do, Hana. I do love you.
Oh my god.
But you're outliving your usefulness. In fact, you're becoming a pain in the arse, just like your dear old dad.
Jesus, did you kill my dad?
Favor, and you'll be with him again.
Did you kill my dad?
Real soon.
Dignity and grace is forgotten as I become a blubbering mess, begging to be spared. Please spill from my lips prayers to Luke for his mercy, because please, I don't want to go. I'm not ready to go. I still want a family, our family, and I want to do more. I can't help but cry about the things that could have been, should have been: a husband, a children, and a home. But I'm going to be cut short. Oh my god. Dang. Maybe we should have opened the cellar. My pleading falls on deaf ears. And although I don't feel it immediately, the way he loosens his hold on me says as much. There's no pain at first, only shock as a dull throbbing radiates from my back. It's like an itch that I can't reach, which gets worse and worse until it's all I can focus on. I panic as the pain becomes too much to bear, and I wish nothing else but for death to consume me now. My body spasms and trembling and shaking, and the pain fires up anew when Luke, the monster, twists the knife in deeper. Breathing is next to impossible. Every time I try, it only feels like I'm drowning. Soon enough, I taste blood on my tongue like copper, and yet both salty and sweet. And here I am laughing like a bloody loon, though my laughter is nothing more but a wet, raspy chuckle. Slowly, I'm losing myself.
What's so funny?
Deeper and deeper yet. He starts laughing.
We were so beautiful.
I drown in his laughter. That's fun. Wait. Yikes. Well, I guess this is the perfect spot to end it. We finished an entire section. I know it's 10 minutes early, but I don't want to start Zach right now. It was because I was faithful at the beginning. Fuck. No! If I had flirted with Zach, I bet you I would have had a chance to leave. Shit. Ah. No. No. I liked her. Well, I think we didn't make it with him. No. Luke. Okay. Well, so things didn't go very well for us. But I hope you guys still enjoyed Hannah's story. As tragic as it ended, I was hoping for an out, but it was really, really fun to go through, and hopefully you guys didn't hate my British accent too much. I did really try. But in the next episode, we're going to find out what happened to the lovely Zach. So far, I think Isabella's still alive. Anna is not. So, you know, we'll see. But, you guys, this game's amazing. if you are a streamer and you think, hey, I should stream this, I think that's normal for, because Isabel's is depleted for her, Zach's is depleted for him. It's because you can't have a relationship with yourself. Oh, we have Luke's story to do too. That's interesting. So, yeah, next time we will do Zachary, and then Marianne, and then Rebecca, and then Ashton, and then Luke. And we'll see what becomes of everyone. Because we have no answers. And then I'm sure there'll be a prologue at the end that tells us the final results of everything. But, you guys, the next time we stream this will be next Wednesday. Around the same time, 9-ish. So looking forward to that. My next stream will most likely be on Saturday, because I think I have another 5 days off in a row. We'll be a little bit busy this coming week because I have to really start cleaning my house for the move, but I look forward to seeing you guys again. And until then, you guys have a nice night and a great day, or whatever time it is where you are, and I'll miss you guys. Bye.